Y'all, oh man, we're back. We're back with a few fumbles. Like, I recorded this whole podcast episode and I didn't record it. My mic was off. Like, what is life? Oh my gosh. But I've just checked and it is recording. All right, let's do this. Welcome to the Fumble Forward podcast. And this podcast is for people that want to grow the journey with themselves, God, others, in pursuit of their truest self. Like I said, when I say the stumbles have been a coming, the fumbles have been a coming. But it's a funny thing because I'm still enjoying it as I'm like, wow, this is a hot mess. And it's also still not going to stop me because I just firmly believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now and building this relationship with all of y'all. And even though I recorded the video to episode 2 and it's gone. It's into the abyss of my camera or my laptop. I don't know. So it will never see the light of day on YouTube. But we're going to do better with episode 3, y'all. Okay. I'm going to make sure it makes its way to YouTube. But with all of that being said, this episode is all about putting yourself out there and what you can gain from doing it. And it's going to be a little bit of me talking about one of my favorite guilty pleasure shows, Love is Blind. Yes. But before we get into all of that, I want to share with you all what I'm doing for self care. Okay. I like triple check. My mic was on because I'll be dang if I finish this again and they ain't no recording. But what I've been doing for self care is really just being honest with myself about when I'm tired because I'm someone that has a lot of energy, just always been that way. I'm not those kind of people that I'm like, oh, I'm 30, so, I need to rest. And like, I don't just, no, I have a lot of energy, long story short. But that also means sometimes I don't know how to sit my behind down and rest. So your girl's been working on that of just saying, no, I need to stay home, or no, I need to go to sleep, or no, I need to take a nap and just love on myself more. So that's what your girl's been working on. And with that being said, it's time to talk about putting yourself out there. And basically, what I mean by putting yourself out there is anything that is outside of your comfort zone is putting yourself out there. So sometimes that's like in public spaces on national TV, like Love is Blind, the Netflix series. And sometimes it's more of a personal thing. It's only something you and God knows about, or you and like 2 other friends know about. And that's kind of it. But I wanted to share with you all a few things that I have done to put myself out there that has given me incredible benefits and insight and just showing you what's possible when you put yourself out there. And so I'll start with a big chunk of my life in the most recent years was working on my business. I know I've told y'all that I did a business for about 6 years about living sustainably. And through that of putting myself out there, I just gained a tremendous amount. I mean, there was one portion where in in terms of like technology, I just got so much more comfortable with technology. I legit built a website. I learned about email marketing. I learned about social media and posting. I learned about how to edit videos. Like, I did not know how to do that. That was my sister's world, not mine. But I learned how to edit videos. I learned how to troubleshoot when software wasn't working. Yes, I can do that now. I learned how to record videos and just got comfortable with technology, got comfortable with failing and then just like learning from that and moving on. And I don't know if I would have gotten that had I not put myself out there and started this business and put it out for the world to experience with me. And so that was a big one. But also, as I got into maybe year 3 or 4 of my business, I started getting requests to be on podcasts. And, podcasts were still new to me. I like kind of listened to them here and there. And I was a bit nervous because it was also a recorded episode. I hadn't talked too much about what I was doing with my business outside of my own platforms that I can control, edit, tweak, and all these things. And now I'm kind of putting my story in somebody else's hands. And I'm so glad I did it. Not only did I grow like good relationships with the host of the podcast, with All Things Sustainable is the one that I did most recently with Katie, and that one was so much fun. And also that you start getting better at articulating your story. And that's always going to be a good skill set to gain, right? Of being able to articulate your story better so that more people understand you. And so those are definitely some of the big benefits that I gained from starting my own business and what all that entailed and how I created it and the experience that I had. But another one that's I didn't even this one I didn't even ask. Okay, I'll talk about it. Why not? But this one's about apps, particularly some popular ones. You may have heard of Tinder, Bumble BFF. Sound familiar? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those, I put myself out there. I put myself out there on the apps and I reaped some really awesome benefits. One being that your girl found her husband on Tinder. Yep, I did way back when. And I mean, enough said there, right? And then with Bumble BFF, I met a really good friend from Bumble BFF that I just don't know. Had it not been for the app, I would have met her. And she's just been so awesome and so just invested in the relationship, which has been so great. And then also, y'all, wild enough, I found my church home through Bumble BFF. Wild. And what's so insane about this story, y'all, is that I don't remember this girl's name. I would walk past her in the street. I don't know why we never met in person. I have no idea. It was just like the Lord had just placed her in just to give me a church home, it seemed. And I don't even know how we got into the conversation in particular, but I remember she gave me like two churches to try. And one I was like, oh, I'm not too sure. And another one I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. And like, bada boom, bada bam, your girl got a church home. So these are the things you can get, y'all, for putting yourself out there. You just never know. You never know. You never know. And so I just wanted to share my story with you all for encouragement, inspiration, and also just to show you what is possible from putting yourself out there and what you can gain and how it can just really change the trajectory of your life in a good way, ideally. And those are more personal, but on a bigger note, on a bigger scale, Love is Blind. Y'all, this is just my guilty pleasure. That's all I can say. Me and my sister, we could talk about this show for hours on end. But if you haven't watched Love is Blind, it is such a unique social experiment show. And basically, what it's about is people trying to find their husband and their wives. And basically, they bring all these women and all these men on the show, they separate them, and then they put them into pods. And basically, like you're sitting on like a couch or something like this, there's a wall in front of you, and then someone else is on the other side sitting on a couch looking at that said wall. And you basically communicate, you talk, you learn about each other, your likes, dislikes, your fears, values, all these different things, and you grow a connection. And the goal is to grow a connection to the point where the man proposes. And then they go and physically see each other. They go out into the real world, all these things, in hopes that at the end of the show, they get married. Yes, it's wild. And it all happens in like legit 4 weeks. It's insane. But I love the show. And season 5 is out. It's been going really great. It's been drama filled. But I have some great themes from the show that I want to share with you all because I feel like it can really speak to all of us to take away as we find ways to put ourselves out there and just grow a deeper understanding of ourselves and how we can show up in the world. So, one of the themes that I pulled from the show is judgment and how to not be so quick to judge. Woo, that one. Yeah, that one. And it really sparked from the relationship that was manifesting in the show between Uche and Aaliyah. And just like so powerful to remind you, like, we're all going to make mistakes. We've made mistakes. We're going to continue to make mistakes. And so just being cautious about being judgmental to everyone, because you never know the full story sometimes. It's hardly ever black and white, and just being cautious of that. I'll just leave that one at that. But another theme that also came up was about uh, chasing the thrill, chasing the flashy things, and just being careful about that. And Johnny, who was a girl on the show, or is a girl on the show, who's had interest in a lot of different men, and just kind of how that kind of manifested in the show, that's what I picked up from her. And the theme is just like being careful of not just going towards what's making your heart flutter and getting butterflies and things that make you really want to just jump on a couch or something like that. And it makes me think of, like, when you're putting yourself out there, thinking about how, are you just chasing the fame? Are you just chasing all the attention? Are you chasing the trips and the moving, the da 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 da? Like, just checking your heart. What's your heart posture and why you're doing something, and is it going to serve you and what you want to do in the long run and what God's called you to do, right? So just like looking at that. But also, a theme that came out that I want to highlight is about, okay, just like forgot in that 5 seconds, is about everyone can work on themselves. Like, when I tell you, there is not a single person on this season, season 5, or any previous season, that hasn't had to work on themselves. No one is coming on this show perfect. Everyone is absolutely imperfect. Some arguably more than others, depending on who you are and what you're looking at. And we're all just trying to fumble forward. And with that, you got to show up with grace for people. You have to show up with a forgiving heart. You have to show up with an understanding heart, because everyone's in different places. Everyone has different stories. And yet we still want a lot of these same goals and visions for our lives. And those are the three themes. I think three. Yes. Three themes that came up in Love is Blind that I wanted to share with you all, as you just keep in mind about putting yourself out there. Like, what ways can you put yourself out there in this last 3 months of 2023? And remembering those things as you're doing it, so that you can put yourself up out there in the best way that you know how to. And that's kind of where I'm feeling with that one. And also transitioning to, how am I building community? But community is so important. I have been, in many ways, putting myself out there by reaching out to family and friends and setting up times to connect. Like, I'm sending up messages like, hey, you want to do dinner? Hey, you want to grab ice cream? Hey, you want to go on a walk? Like, putting myself out there, getting things on my calendar that will get me excited for life, just excited for life. And building those relationships, because when I tell you, it is so easy to blink, boom, month passed, blink, 2 months, like, what? It's just like insane. And I don't know what it is about being an adult that makes the time fly by. I have no idea. But I say that all to say, your girl has been ferociously making her appointments and connections and all the things. So that's what I'm doing. And I just hope this episode really resonated with you. If you're thinking about somebody that you feel like needs that push to put themselves out there, maybe this episode is for them. Or you feel like someone's like on the verge of putting themselves out there, but they just need that little push, this episode's for them. And just anyone that's realized they've just been really stagnant, or just been in the same place for a little bit, and they're like, oh, I do need to put myself out there. I do need to get outside of my comfort zone. share this with them too, right? We all want to help each other fumble forward in this life that we've been given. And so, with that, I want to remind you all that you never lose, but always learn. Yeah, you never lose, but always learn. And okay, with that, I'll be here next time. I don't know what I was trying to say. It's like as soon as I was saying it, I was like, what were you trying to say? Oh man, y'all, here we are. We out here. We out here. See you next time.